Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another Plan With Me video. Today we are going to be putting together our weekly spread. So as you can see here, this is what I did for my monthly spread. If you missed that video, I will put a link to it up in the cards. But for the weekly spread, we're going to use a different color palette. So I've decided I want to use this one. You can of course use whatever you want, but I really love this color palette. I just kind of like anything that has this sort of peach color. It's one of my favorite colors, like for my entire life. So I will be using this one. So feel free to grab your favorite cup of tea and come join me and let's plan our weekly spreads for this month. So starting off, I'm just going to come back to my monthly layout and I'm going to go into my clicking mode. I know I said this last video. I need to figure out the actual terms. I feel like a mess when I just call them whatever. But it is April 10th, so we're going to be starting this week, especially because it's a Monday start planner. And just looking at this, I can already tell I'm going to want to revamp pretty much the entire thing. So you would have seen me do in a couple other videos, I think my February weekly, how I completely redid this. So we're definitely going to be doing that. And I also need to start off by just covering up everything on the edges here. So let's jump in by going to our elements and then finding the presets that I have made for my monthly. So that would be this one. And we're just gonna resize it so that it fits. And I think that looks like everything is covered up. Let's tap off to just be sure. Okay, beautiful. So now that we've got that, the next thing that I want to do is make sure that I have my pen tools set up so that everything is in the correct colors. So I will put the hex codes here, and then you can pause the video for a minute and put in the hex codes. Okay, so now that my hex codes are all set up, now is the fun part. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cover this stuff up because honestly, I just don't wanna see it. I just think it's distracting, so we're gonna start by covering that up. Now, in reality, you can totally play with this entire layout and you can move these over here, for example. I like to keep my dates intact because if you have this specific planner, you know that these are hyperlinks, so I can actually click on them and go to that specific day, which is super nice and convenient, and so I don't like to mess with that too much. And then I can just come back to this week. So if you watched the February weekly plan with me, you'd know basically what I did was I put a color block over this, and you can either do a solid color or a gradient, and then I just kind of drew the box outline. So I sort of want to go with the gradient. Let me find one that I really like. I think maybe I want to do this purple and blue. So you have a couple options here, and I think what I'm going to do is something different than what I did in February. So if you want to see how I did it in February, feel free. I will also put that one in the cards up here. But I'm going to use Procreate here because I want to give this whole shape the gradient look. So what I'll do is I'm just going to export this page, and I'm going to make sure it's as an image, and I'm just gonna export it and then save it to my photos. So I'm just gonna save image, and then I'm just gonna open this in my photos. And what I'm gonna do, if you have Procreate, you can follow along. You can just hit this little export button and tap Procreate, and it will send it to Procreate. So if you have a canvas already open in Procreate, it might give you some trouble. So then I would just go back to your home page and then try to import it again, and it'll just show up here in the corner. All right, so I'm gonna open this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up to my layers menu, and I'm going to tap the plus sign so I can create a new layer on top. And now what I'm gonna do is come to this ribbon here, and I am going to move this up just a little bit so I can see the whole thing. And we wanna make sure that this is on rectangle and on color fill. So what we're gonna do is just come out here just outside of it a little bit. You can be bigger than the rectangle because we can clean it up later, and then just drag it to the bottom corner and let go. We've now filled this with a perfect rectangle. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw another layer and take this check mark and just uncheck it. I'm just gonna come in here so that I can get a good visual of the part that's meant to be white. And I am going to draw a rectangle there. So again, I might have to move it a little bit because of this menu. And you just want to try to get it as close to this corner as possible. And it might take you a time or two to really get it where you want it. There, we've got that. And what I'm going to do now, because I can see this shape's not all that great, is I'm going to try to line up my next one. And you can just keep adding, which is really nice. I just add that and pull that up a little bit more. And I can even zoom in and get this last couple pixels here. Okay, and that's good enough for me. And now this is all one shape, which is really nice. And I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to take this second layer and I'm just going to add one on top, and we want to be working on layer 4. So we're just going to zoom into this spot and take our rectangle on color fill. All right, and we're just going to try to line this up too as perfectly as we can and just kind of drag and pull that over. And I can tell this is not up quite far enough, but I did extra down here. So I'm going to hit this mouse tool and I'm just going to drag this up a little bit more, and I'm a lot happier with that. You can also just use your fingers to kind of nudge the object in the direction you want it to go, and I think that looks really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to toggle on layer 2, which is our big rectangle. I'm going to toggle on layer 3. I'm going to just forget about layer 4 for now. So we're going to come to layer 3, tap select, turn color fill off, and then come back to our bottommost layer, layer 2, tap on it and hit clear. So it doesn't look like anything happened, but if I come to layer 3 and I just swipe to the left and hit delete, you'll see that it just has this space. I know it looks a little funny. We're going to turn on layer 4, and you can actually pinch these two layers together so it merges them down into one. And then we're going to tap on the N, and here we have the opacity. We're just going to drag this down enough so that you can see the outline underneath. So now what we can do is we can start using that rectangle selection, and we can use it to delete the outside space that we don't want. So I can just drag from the far left side and drag it over, and I'm pretty content with that. And now you can either do it once at a time or you can just keep adding. So I prefer to just keep adding. And I didn't quite get enough, so I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to come up here. And what you'll notice is I'm always dragging from like a point that's further away rather than starting inside here, because then you have a lot more freedom to get the edit that you want. And I can zoom in and see if I want to do any more. So I think I do want just a little bit more. I hope that made sense. So if I'm dragging from the outside here, then I can line this up anywhere and it's a lot easier to visualize. Whereas if I like drew from here, I might not get it right. So anyway, now that we have that, so we can take 3 fingers and like scrub the screen. This is usually what I do. Or you can take 3 fingers and swipe down and then tap cut. And it will cut all of that. And now we can actually just remove this layer and come back to that N, and we can put the opacity all the way back up. And now's the fun part. So if you have the PNG files of the stickers, you can import that into Procreate right now. If you didn't go through the trouble of doing that, we can actually come over to Goodnotes, come to our sticker pack, and I want to use this one. So what I can do is just hit copy, and then I can come back to Procreate, and then I can pull 3 fingers down and I can tap paste. And then it'll ask if you want to paste from Goodnotes. You just hit allow paste. And I'm going to drag it so that it's bigger than that space. And you can also move it to freeform. So then you have the freedom to kind of shape it how you want. If it's on uniform, it will be the same. It'll keep the same dimensions. But if you freeform it, you can kind of play with it however you want. So if I wanted the full spectrum from purple to blue, I would make these closer to that edge. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to come to this layer, layer 2, and I'm just going to turn on clipping mask, and it will clip it to that shape. And then I can turn off my background layer and I can swipe down with 3 fingers and tap copy all. And now I can come back to Goodnotes, come to my planner, and paste. And then I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna crop out the rest of that canvas and just crop it pretty closely. Try not to crop off anything though. So I left like a little bit of an edge around there. All right, and now I can just kind of come in here and resize it. And if you get it just right, you should be able to do it pretty accurately, but you can also take it in just a tiny bit on some of the edges. And if you're finding that you can't get it perfectly lined up, I would recommend grabbing this and moving it over. And then you can grab one of these white blocks, for example, copy it, paste it, and you can just cover up quickly the specific lines. And then you don't have to really worry about it getting in the way. And I'm just gonna do that 4 times. Super quickly. You guys will have to let me know if you enjoy these little hacks because I personally prefer to have like freedom. I used to bullet journal a lot, and so I loved being able to customize my planner. And so for me, this is what kind of makes planning fun. And then also one thing I want to do is I'm going to zoom in now and I'm going to move this as close to that edge as possible just so I get a nice sort of clean line that looks like it's a part of it, you know? It doesn't look like I just went in and created this little outline. Looks like it was part of the planner from the beginning. Okay, so now that those are where they need to be, and I know these lines are long enough, I'm just going to tap on this. I'm going to cut it, and I see that that needs to be bigger, so I'm just going to fix that real quick. I'm just going to paste this so it's now on top, and we should be in pretty good shape now, so I'm just going to line that up. Okay, and that is good for me. I just really wanted this like gradient on there, so that's what I went and did. But like I said, you can do what we did in February, and I actually am going to steal part of that. So I'm going to come to February. Wow, a busy month. And I'm going to click on the second week here, and I am just going to come here to text boxes only. And I'm just going to grab Sunday, Saturday. I'm just going to grab all of these. And I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to come back to April. Come back to this week. And I'm just going to paste. And put these right where they belong. And these are all individual ones. So if you want to move them separately, kind of adjust them a bit, you can do that. Okay, but I like this. I think it's cute. So now it's time for me to add in some other bits. So I'm going to come to my sticker pack here. I'm going to come to the picture tool, and I'm going to grab, I think, the green and peach, and I'm going to copy this and come back to my planner. I'm going to hit paste. And then what I'm going to do is you can use text or you can just write these, but I'm going to take the white pen here and I'm just going to trace these letters. And I think I want them a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to bring the thickness down to like 0.45. And I'm just going to trace. Like I said, you can use the cheeky collegian font if you want, but sometimes I just want to write. Okay, that's good enough. And now, since I already did this one first, I can grab my picture tool, bring it over, and I can either do it that way or I can rotate it, and this is usually how I prefer. So we're just gonna make it match that width and then bring it in. Okay, and I want it just a tiny bit wider. I don't want to risk any of the edges showing through. And just place it there, and the letters magically pop up on top. Okay, I think it's cute. I like the ombre look. So now I'm just gonna add these numbers in. So I need the 10th through the 16th. So just grabbing the 10th through the 16th of all of the colors here and copying them. Coming back to my planner, I'm just gonna paste these. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have the purple here at 16 and also at 12. And then I can put the blue at 13. And then I'll do the peach at 10 and 14 and the green at 11 and 15. Okay, and I'm just gonna select these and delete them. And I'm gonna move this back over. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go in and carefully adjust these. And I see this needs moved over too. I think I'm just gonna take full advantage of this ombre look. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but we're going to come to the sticker pack and I'm just gonna grab, maybe I'll grab this purple and green one. I'm gonna copy this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to paste it. I'm gonna grab the shape. I'm gonna rotate it so the green's on top, and I'm just gonna go like that. I'm gonna copy it. I'm going to tap and paste it, and I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, so I want this to line up with the bottom, and then I just kind of want these to be evenly spaced out. And if you do want to make yourself a bit of a guide, an easy thing to do would be to just take a pen, and I would choose a color other than what you're working with. So like I can choose this peach color and just draw a straight line, and I can come in here and just line them all up. Okay, I think that looks good enough. I'm happy with it. Now I'm just gonna take my eraser tool and just turn on stroke eraser and erase that. So now what I'm gonna do is I can grab any one of these squares and just copy it and paste it. And I'm gonna tap on it again to bring up these arrows. And we're just gonna bring it over here and just size it until it's a good size for this rectangle square thing here. And once I like it and its placement, I'm going to tap off. I'm going to tap back onto it to select it at this size. I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to come down here and paste it. Okay, cute. You could have varied the colors or done whatever you want to there, but I like that. You guys know me, I love to have a space to brain dump for the week. So I'm just gonna take this cute paper and I'm gonna copy it, bring it over to my planner, and then we're just gonna resize it so it looks nice in here. Grab some cute washi tape. Let's layer the washi tape. So I'm gonna use the purple and green washi tape. We're gonna copy it, bring it over here. That's cute. And then I'm gonna come back and use blue. Copy it, paste it, and we're just gonna resize it and layer it on top. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna do is I am going to take these paper clips and I'm just going to make sure that I have my images on here, and I'm gonna select all of these because I haven't really figured out which color I want to use, and I'm going to paste them and rotate them, and then I think maybe this one. Just gonna put it like that, and I want it angled and off to the side kind of, and that's perfect. I don't think I'm gonna put it on all of them. I think I'm just gonna put it down here on the middle one. I'm gonna put it like this, so that's about the spot that I want to cut it off. So I'm just gonna tap, crop, and freehand, and I'm just gonna cut it like that, and then select everything that I want to keep, hit done. And I'm just going to rotate it ever so slightly. What is wrong with my iPad today? It's glitching like crazy. See? Okay, we're just going to move this back. Okay, so I'm just going to delete these ones. Grab your picture tool and delete them individually. Okay, and I want to put text in here, obviously, so you guys have an idea of what I'm even doing. In my cheeky collegian, I'm just gonna come here and I'm actually going to tap with my finger so I can use my keyboard to do. You guys have seen me do this before. It is one of the most helpful things for me in order to manage all of my projects. Double tap to select, and I'm gonna move the size up. I think something like 42 is good. Now, before I do the rest, I am going to come back to my sticker pack. I'm going to come to my lasso tool, tap on this, hit copy. We're going to grab the transparent peach brush stroke, and I'm just going to paste this. Tap on it again, and so I'm just going to drag it over here and make it a little bit bigger actually so that it looks nice in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of center it better. I'm gonna copy it as it is. I'm going to paste it and paste it again. All right, and then text boxes is the only thing we want on here. So I'm just gonna lasso and hit copy. I'm also gonna get this placed how I want it. So I'm content with it there. Paste it and paste it again. And then I'll just come in and I'll change this. So I'll tap on it with my finger. Select all, change this to doing, and you might have to make it a little wider there. And then I'm just going to do the same thing down here and then right, done. I think I'm going to use a purple stroke to highlight this week. So let's come over to the purple one. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste, and then we're just going to kind of bring this up here. We're going to keep it small because I think this is kind of cute. So we've got 10. We're going to copy it, paste, and I'm gonna paste it again. This time I need to make it obviously a lot smaller, so just gonna do that. Okay, so now we just have to do the heading and then something in this space. So I'm just gonna take my lasso tool, turn on images, and grab all these cute florals. Going to copy them and come back here, and I'm going to tap and paste. Oops, and I grabbed the rain boots. I just love those rain boots though. Maybe I'll put them somewhere. They're so cute. Okay, and we're just gonna grab these individually and just kind of make a cute little flower patch. And actually, I think what I wanna do is I'm going to take this here. I'm gonna copy it and paste it. And I'm just gonna resize this, crop, rectangle, and I just wanna bring it down so it's just like a thin green line. And we're just gonna draw a line here. And then I can just make these flowers kind of come out of them. So it's like a little flower bed. And just kind of size them and get them to a place that you are happy with. And so I'm really just kind of playing around here to see what I like. So of course I recommend you do the same. Okay, and I think I'm just gonna add a little butterfly, or a couple little butterflies. So I'm just gonna copy these, and I want them to be small. So I'm just going to paste them and make them like little teeny tiny. My Goodnotes just glitches like constantly. I wish I knew why. If I just restart it, it'll like fix itself. Anyway, I think I'm gonna also draw maybe a few little like colored dots. So I'm just gonna come to my pen and I'm going to make my brush size maybe a little bigger and just draw in some cute little dots in the different colors. And they just make it a little more visually interesting. All right, so now we just have to do April. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use these eggs. I wanted to keep it kind of interesting. So I'm just gonna copy these, bring them back to my planner and paste them. And I'm gonna size them up fairly big, and I just wanna check and make sure that they fit in here. But yeah, we're gonna make them pretty big. And I'm just gonna start to place them up here. And what I wanna do is have like 5 that are really big. And they don't have to be like perfectly spaced out. I think having them be a little bit lopsided will make them more fun. Okay, and then you can just kind of start to fill in those gaps. Okay, so now on the big ones is where I'm gonna write April. So I'm just gonna take my pen tool and I'm actually gonna use white, and I'm going to make sure it's on like the thickest setting, and I'm just gonna come in here and write. And you can kind of make it as thick as you want. Now, if you aren't so sure that it stands out enough, you can just turn off text boxes and images and turn off handwriting. And you can grab this and you can copy it, and then you can tap on the same one and recolor it and just give it like a darker color. And I actually think that this gray is like a really nice gray to go with that. But we'll just paste the white on top. And you can kind of make those letters pop a bit better. And I'm gonna, I don't know, should I just leave that? I could have gotten rid of it. I don't know, it's just so cute. I love those rain boots. Okay, and there is my weekly setup. It looks like this got nudged too, so I'm just gonna move this back. Okay, and there we go. I think this title here is a lot more fun than what I usually do, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Anyway, that is all for today's Plan With Me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always appreciate your support. I hope that this inspired you in some way to get creative with your own planning, and thanks again, and I will see you guys in my next video.